Well, good morning and welcome to Wake Up in the Word. Thank you for joining me today. I'm doing what we would call a makeup video for one that I had to take down from Psalm 25, and I'm thinking that there's a lot of providence involved in that, and you may see that here in a few moments as I'm going to read the psalm to you and then make some comments at the end. Psalm 25 is one designed for a nation that's about to go to war, about to go into battle. It's a psalm of protection, a psalm of help, calling upon the Lord to help in a time of distress. Let's read it together. I'm reading this from the Holman Christian Standard Bible. Psalm 25, verse 1. Lord, I turn my hope to you. My God, I trust in you. Do not let me be disgraced. Do not let my enemies gloat over me. Not one person who waits for you will be disgraced. Those who act treacherously without cause will be disgraced. Make your ways known to me, Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. I wait for you all day long. Remember, Lord, your compassion and your faithful love, for they have existed from antiquity. Do not remember the sins of my youth or my acts of rebellion. In keeping with your faithful love, remember me because of your goodness, Lord. Let me stop for just a moment there, because at verse 7, you see David acknowledging there are sins in his life. Now, this is a little bit different. First time we've seen this in the Psalms. It's a time where we've seen the Messianic Psalms, where someone is referred to as being absolutely perfect, who can ascend the heights of the Lord and can ascend the hill of the Lord. And now we've got someone, David, as King David, saying, don't remember the sins of my youth. Now watch as it gets into the middle of this psalm and kind of has a crescendo, recognizing the need for forgiveness in our lives. Verse 8, the Lord is good and upright, therefore he shows sinners the way. He leads the humble in what is right and teaches them his way. All the Lord's ways show faithful love and truth to those who keep his covenant and decrees. Because of your name, Lord, forgive my sin, for it is great. Now we have the psalmist doing something, saying, Lord, because of your name, something about your name, we're going to get that in some later psalms, that demonstrates you're a God who loves his people and is willing to forgive. So because of your name, Lord, forgive my sin, for it is great. A confession found in verse number 11. Now, verse 12. Who is the person who fears the Lord? He will show him the way that he should choose. He will live a good life, and his descendants will inherit the land. The secret counsel of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he reveals his covenant to them. My eyes are always on the Lord, for he will pull my feet out of the net. Now that verse is a picture of being trapped by one who has set a snare or a trap either for an animal or to entrap a human being. And once you're caught in that trap, what can you do? You must escape. Now maybe you felt that way. Maybe you felt like traps have been laid for you and you've walked right in it and you're almost feeling embarrassed, saying, oh Lord, look what I've gotten myself into. But he says, call on me. I'm the God that'll help you with this circumstance. So, hey, my eyes are always on you, Lord. You will pull my feet out of the net or out of the trap. Verse 16, turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am alone and afflicted. The distresses of my heart increase. Bring me out of my sufferings. Consider my affliction and trouble and take away all my sins. Again, third time in this psalm that we see a reference to don't remember my sins, take away my sins, forgive my sins. Verse 19, consider my enemies now. Let's change the focus here. Look at them. Consider my enemies. They are numerous and they hate me violently. Guard me and deliver me. Do not let me be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. May integrity and uprightness keep me, for I wait for you. God, redeem Israel from all its distresses. So notice how this psalm shifts, and it shifts to a national prayer by the end of the psalm. I thought that was so appropriate today because as I was watching, as I always do every day, watching news from Jerusalem, I saw a most interesting clip of Bibi Netanyahu speaking at an IDF graduation. That's for the Israeli Defense Forces. And he was lamenting the circumstances in which the house of Israel is today. Surrounded by enemies who've declared they want to destroy Israel, led forcefully by the nation of Iran, which would be biblical Persia. Iran continues to fuel violence against Israel, both directly and indirectly through their proxies throughout the region. They're surrounded on every side by, to the far east would be Iran, but also Syria to the north, where Iran has also stationed troops within the borders of the Syrian nation, within Lebanon through Hezbollah, from Gaza, from Yemen to the south. All places where Iran is now not only, they have been sending munitions and support for terrorist groups that are focusing their entire being on the destruction of the nation of Israel, but now they're adding to this precision-guided missiles, drones, some of those weapons of war similar to what they used in their attacks on Saudi Arabia, almost as if it was a place for them to test them before they turned them against Israel. One of the things that has been said recently in the news, it was said also by Prime Minister Netanyahu, unless there's a change in what's taking place in Iran, unless there's a change in their continuing to stockpile weapons all around Israel, unless something immediately turns, unless the pressure from the world community on Iran makes them put down their weapons and change their tune, war is inevitable. That was the quote exactly. War is inevitable. Where's this going? I don't know, but it's interesting that this psalm basically is crying out to God for help during a time of distress. We are recording this right at the beginning of November in the year 2019. I don't know what date you're watching it, but at this time, great military exercises are about to be taking place in Israel involving several nations, including the United States. Military exercises unlike anything they've ever done in their history, involving some advanced weapons of war that are being set apart throughout Israel defensively, getting ready for what may be the inevitable war sparked by primarily, although there are other nations involved, but primarily by Iran. Isn't it a great time to use the words of this psalm to call on the Lord to protect His people, especially His people in Israel? So I want to read verse 22 as we close. Remember how this psalm ended. God, redeem Israel from all its distresses. God, redeem Israel from all its distresses. Thank you for joining me today. Whatever distress you're in, did you know you can call on that same strong God? He is for you. He'll be with you. And even though the dark clouds may be surrounding you, just as they seem to be surrounding the nation of Israel, we know who wins on the other side. So always trust in the Lord. He will take care of you, and He will take care of His people Israel. God bless you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Wake up in the Word.